Stay informed each time we uplift on cannabis, inner healing, and self-growth. Hit the follow or subscribe button. In today's podcast, MuffyD is dropping in to talk about her upcoming trauma art show, Unfinished. Find a comfortable place to allow yourself to relax and be uplifted as she shares with us how she combined cannabis and art for self-healing and growth. Good morning, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Miss Debbie. Thank you for having me.
We're glad you're here. So when did you first discover or learn about trauma art and become interested in exploring it for yourself?
I think because trauma art is such a big word, and I was thinking on this, and I think I've always loved art. I always loved music. Growing up, though, it wasn't readily available, and it definitely wasn't encouraged. I wanted to draw and do things all the time, and I was explained by my mother that the things that we draw, we make happen. And so as I've grown up and I've learned what actual trauma and things are in children's behavior, we really draw what we see and what is happening. And I think she really did not want me to express anything of that sort. So I kind of had art just inside of me. I feel like I've been practicing, but it was never outwards. Definitely not onto a paper, a canvas. I did do a lot of arts and crafts. And so I think I subconsciously was doing art through that, but there was no real, they were gifts to my friends. There was no real art for me or any of my feelings. But I love going to art museums, music. My friends were very much artists. And so I think just I was gravitated towards it. It's just it was never readily available until recently when I got to cannabis community.
So how did you get introduced to Irene Canna Kitty LLC?
We were looking for artists to decorate the walls at the dispensary that I worked at, and she was one of the artists that just was well known in the community, well liked. I gravitated towards her art. She actually kind of taught me it doesn't need to be so serious. It doesn't need to be any kind of perfection. It's the beauty that, like the happy that we checked out in. So I saw her cartoon ones, which I could not stop looking at. And so it was Roadrunner and the Coyote on one of them. And I was just like thinking about how in children we gravitate towards, you know, certain shows and things like that. I just wanted her stuff all over the place. I wanted to stare at it and see why she chose these subjects and how much happy it was bringing people. Just looking at them, kind of bringing them back to a space in their life that was a happy memory. That's how I got her into our store. But then when we had our 3rd anniversary, I actually got to really talk to her a little bit, and something about her I just wanted to know more. And it wasn't until the Etiquette Crew started that we actually really did start to talk about and become real good friends.
And so did you see it as trauma art when you saw her pieces, or did you just see it as an expression?
I think at that point in my head, I really did not think about my trauma. I think I was very autopiloted. I'm a disassociated kind of person, I found out. I check out in really like pretty colors, moments. I dance and sing in my head a lot. And so until I actually did some trauma work through shadow work just recently, I did not understand why I liked the art that I liked. Why, that was my first question in my trauma therapy. Why do I like the things I like, and why do I do the things I do? I did not see it as trauma art. I saw it as a happy. She brought happy to me. Like I said, I just wanted to know more about her art. I don't think we ever spoke that it was trauma art until recently, till about a year ago. So paint to canvas was always a challenge for me. Nobody supported it until I had gotten Miss Canna Kitty in my life. It was protected. It was respected. It wasn't constantly like, you're taking too much time on that. Why are you doing that? I've been doing it for 20 minutes. It's like, my heart is pouring out onto something and you want me to put a time limit on it. And so it was never really safe, really, to do any of it. I didn't want to share it with anybody around me. they didn't deserve to know those parts of me. And so I would just never do it.
So now that you're doing it, how do you feel, and how do you feel about people being able to see that part of you?
I didn't know I could paint. That's why I say I think I've been practicing inside myself my whole life. The things that are coming out, they actually look like portraits of people. I know my very first piece was on one of those screen doors, and I had, with this tiny little pencil, sharpened it, and I don't know how my dreams came out onto this huge screen door, and for some reason someone else wanted it, and I took a knife to it and I shredded it up, and I still have this piece. It'll be one of the pieces at the art show that I will be stitching up with red stitching. It's only got parts to it, but I couldn't believe that it was, I feel like I draw in the shadows. I don't know if that makes sense, but there's no real image on the canvas until I've done some marks, and then I step back, and then I start to see images and faces, and I start to darken them in. Until COVID hit, I never did an actual thought out sketch piece, and I did a self-portrait, and it looked like a person. So I was like, I need to do more, and like without the support, I couldn't have gotten to that place. I really don't know how to speak on it much, except for I can actually look at it now and it feels like it's out of me, and I can give it respect and validation, and know that I overcame it. I'm safe. I'm not ashamed anymore. Yay. I know. I was like, once that shame is gone, nobody can get me, especially myself. That mean voice is quieter. It's still there at times, of course, self-doubt, but I hear Miss Debbie's voice, you know, I hear Miss Irene's voice. I hear these other voices now that tell me, you know, keep going. You are okay. And I think we do need to hear those words when we do come from trauma. No matter how much we tell ourselves, it wasn't you, it's not your fault. Some strange reason as humans, we need some kind of connection, understanding from another being. Feeling, I'm still learning a lot about it. So,
well, and that's good though. But how do you feel? Do you feel comfortable with people seeing now what you put on canvas? You won't shred it up this time.
I used to destroy everything I made. I think that's weird that you said that. Anything I've made prior, it was always destroyed in some way. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't want to share those parts of me. And it's like, it's almost a permanent thing once you put it on something. Today, I know how much art helped me. I don't want to say I was dead inside, but I definitely didn't feel much, except for when I went to art. Crafts, you know what I mean? Little cute things that meant something so important. They made me feel, so it still made me feel alive. And that's what art did to me, for me.
Well, it's a touch with a feeling.
It is a feeling. Growing up, I really didn't have much music. I had my dad's records, and I had maybe 2 tapes. Like I said, once I saw it, it's like I really poured myself if I had an opportunity with art. And so to be able to make it myself, and I hope people can look at it and feel something and know, no matter what we went through, and I know some of it's going to be really harsh, but just know, like, I am okay, and and if I can help someone else just have some moments of peace knowing that they're not alone, even if I don't get to talk to them. And I think that is my biggest thing. I just want a longer reach. Now that I've found that this is helpful to tell our story, I want to be more helpful.
Well, I think as women, we've been taught to not talk about this stuff. And that is not the way we deal with trauma. That's not the way we should deal with things that happen in our life, is that we should be able to be open.
And I think it's the generational thing. Right now, it keeps coming up that we are at a time right now to change generational cycles. There was no other time we could do it. And when we think about the women history, it is, look at hysteria. Look at housewives that just spoke a little bit. What were they? Locked away, put on crazy types of medication to make them more crazy. And I think it's because we are so powerful to be able to take on emotions, create life, still be soft, and then still step up and take care of life. And I think that's why we are constantly being bombarded in a man's world, to be locked up, to be shamed away. The criteria of a woman, this is unattainable, it's ridiculous. I am not gonna hit any of those marks, some of them, but like the more I understand who we're supposed to be, there's no criteria for anybody, to each its own on all of it. And until we can accept, it took me a while to accept that for myself. And I think to be able to do this art and to be able to share it is one of my biggest accomplishments. I'm okay with them having the questions. I'm okay with sharing some of the bad experiences. They're not, yeah, they were bad, but I'm glad I'm validating it, letting it go, and I feel lighter. Before, I wanted to puke tar, and that's the only word I can say. That's the only sentence I could say. These words that I speak today are from you, Miss Debbie, from Irene, from Elisa, Miss Kira. Gifts given to me in conversations throughout the 5 years since I've continuous with cannabis. And I think there was a question you asked, what came first, cannabis or art?
Right.
I think it wasn't until my system, like my support system and my endocannabinoid system, was balanced a little bit, I still have a ways to go on that also, that I could start to think this way, to be able to express this way. It wasn't a thought in my head. Like I said, I tried art, and it was definitely within days shunned away and be like, you're taking too much time, you got other things to do.
I think cannabis actually has given women a gift that I don't think we could have ever imagined. But if you allow yourself to sit with it and you find the right cannabinoids for yourself,
Yeah.
and you're nourishing your endocannabinoid system, and you just sit with it and allow yourself to explore yourself, it really is uplifting and changing and being more in tune with who you are. You know, at 60 years old, I found that I met a person that has been inside for a very long time. And I was able to have a voice, and I was able to stand up for myself in ways that I couldn't before cannabis. It has really changed things.
Right.
And made me more expressive.
I felt like she was hiding because someone's like, she's gone. And I was like, no, she's just scared and hiding. That person that is fully who we are. We do these types just to protect ourselves. And that little girl, we learned very early on, especially as women, and what not to do. And even if we don't want to, it is so habited within us to keep the calm in the house. I always said it soothes the beast of the day. I won't bend who I am. My integrity was always intact. I am good at fighting. You see me arguing and holding my side. I do very well. I'm comfortable. Though I realized through the shadow work that I am auto to just try to keep calm of the day. The way I don't have to do the fighting.
So how long did it take you to discover that you could mix cannabis and art together and actually express yourself and do your inner healing?
This is where it just came recently. I never mixed cannabis and work. So I would wait all day until I got home to medicate. Since COVID in April of 2020, I have not worked for the first time in my life. And so I think it took, in May 1st, I hired myself, and I started trying different ways of medicating. And you were teaching me how we can't wait all day to medicate. And so that really hit true, but I never wanted to do the THC because it made me groggy, or I had all these thoughts. And I think that actually halted what the cannabis could do for me, because yeah, you have to kind of let it do its thing. And I think I was just already failing it before I even started it. And so to freely have a day where I can medicate throughout, art just started. Yeah, well, me and Irene would talk, Miss Cannon Kitty, and we write this list for an art show, and it easily came out. And then we're talking about more art stuff, and it's things are just linking and hitting. And I believe when it goes easily, you keep following it. When something is too much of a pull or I don't get chills on it, I just really just say it's not our time. We'll try it later. With this, it just came on so easily. I had no gut-wrenching feeling. Everything in me said this was the right thing to do. And the art just, yeah, started coming out. For some reason, I was finding canvases. And yeah, I don't know even know how to explain it. It's like my daughter would come over with paints and we would sit and then I would get a whole painting done. My very first painting was a self-portrait, and I looked at it, and I don't complete any art. I usually, they're all unfinished, but I think we are unfinished, so I really think that's fine. I'm not gonna overly judge my stuff. And I think at that point, I knew I was healing. I was just like, I can see it. I know what that picture is for me, my story. But when I showed it to a couple of really close friends, they see something different. And that's what they're dealing with inside. And I think that was the most powerful moment. Yeah, it came easy.
So when you sat down to do that first piece, did you even have any idea what you were going to do? Can you explain what that
Okay.
process was like?
So yeah, my daughter came over. She's been rocking these amazing pictures for me. So I would give her ideas of what, like I have this one picture that was taken called the Love Junkie. And so it's a girl hunched over. I usually take pictures of me for the reference, just so I can get the shapes. And she's holding a syringe full of hearts. And so around the entire painting, it just has all these beautiful words that people tell you that aren't real. So it's basically fake love art. And so she was coming over, bringing over these other art pieces. I ended up with a canvas, and I was like, I'm just going to try to paint a self-portrait. It's something an artist should try to attempt. I don't know why I took a picture of me like that, but I did. I wanted it to be kind of angled, and then she just kept saying, check your reference, because I was learning about shadowing, and I love hands. And hands are hard to draw, so I wanted to practice it. And next thing I know, it's completed. I've never completed that quickly. And every time I just walked by it, I don't know, instead of, like I said, the gut wrench was gone, and I was proud that I was able to get it out. And I understood the piece. I am safe, and I can move on. Yeah.
So, and how old was your daughter at this time?
So this is all during COVID. So this is all during 2020. So she is 16 now. She was 15 at the time. She just turned 16 in December. But she's always been my art baby. So her growing up and doing art, and I was so supportive of it, I noticed why I didn't do art, because my mom would tell her the same things. You're making these things happen. She would draw like decapitated teddy bears and things like that. I thought it was very good art. I think she's self-expressing. She's angry at the time. That's when Daddy first left. And so I was very understanding of it. She would throw them in the dumpster. I would have to go dumpster diving, go grab them. I was just glad I was there to counter it so she would continue her art. And so when COVID hit, she was just so supportive, and she had acquired amazing art paints. And I've never touched a lot of art supplies. And so when she left them there, yeah, another piece came out of me with me as a little girl with my first trainer, which was my dog. The dog had taught me to bite and definitely growl and keep protected. And so, and I just laughed. I was just like, this makes me feel good. I was brave. I was, and so just stuff like that. There are some heavier ones, but it made me understand. I lived in a very imaginatory world as a child, and I had to cry for some of my imaginary friends that weren't real. I thought they were real, but they definitely protected. And like I said, I'm still here, and I'm okay. And so the art just shows me how far I've come. I don't think I've ever thought about that little girl. And this little girl looks so angry that I just connect with this little Asian girl that I drew. I know it's me, but I hope it connects with a lot of others. Just being a child and so mad at the world and can't wait to grow up and be an adult so you can do it your way. But also found out if you don't validate that child, that adolescence, that teenager, once you hit adult, you're really still a child.
Well, and I think that, and you hit on this, is that you would refer back to imaginary things as a kid. I think that kids are very imaginative. And I think that's what makes kids so beautiful, is that they're so imaginative. And I think that if we have trauma, that's just a safe place to be imaginative and to return to that. And being able to use that and express yourself through art is a really good way to do some healing. And I think that's what's going to be really cool about this art show, because the way you're going to express through your imagination and what you went through is very different than what Canna Kitty is going to express through her art. If I look at her art and your art, they're very different.
She is the bravest person I know. And I've thought I had a different definition of bravery, I think, until I learned about these feelings. This is the first time feeling these types of feelings. And so, yeah, I just think for her to be able to express, she taught me to take the depression and make it my friend. The things she's taught me is just above. It definitely made me take bigger strides and hits. Or I don't even see, I still don't have the words, but I'm still learning. Yeah, these feeling things are very, very new to me.
We've been taught to keep them bottled up and
I don't have the words. I have an art piece where it's just a bunch of static. It looks like my head's full of static, and I have this ball that says shush. I have triggers sometimes. I just say shush. I cannot say anything else. So I actually want to change it to speak. So I'm so glad it's just in a sketch. I do want to make it I don't know, we'll see what comes out. I don't like to put too many rules on what the list is. I just know, like I said, it's coming out too easily. And me and Irene both have full confidence in our entire list, which is amazing.
So when you say that it's just coming out, do you find that it's easier to set and do this now? And do you find that you're finding bigger growth with each one that you do?
Yes, but I only can do it in a place that's safe. In the last space that I was in, I would not touch any of it. I felt like I didn't want to put the juju of the place or how I felt into any of my pieces. And I truly believe this in crafting, in anything I've ever done. It's always a lot of intentions, a lot of spoken word onto what I create. Very focused. And so go from an apartment that I was freely I had all my crafts, all the things to create almost on a daily. I was making something. And to then go into 2 months of just, it felt dark. And I didn't want to touch, and maybe I'll do an art piece later on to represent that, but definitely was a lot of anger, and I didn't want to put any type of anger into any of the pieces that are going into the exhibits. These pieces are, the past. It's the past Donnas that have overcame those times. So.
Do you have specifics that you have to like primers that you have to put in place to get yourself ready to sit down and do art?
I didn't at the apartment. I just had everything out. I walked by it and I felt like it. This was the first time I had no schedule. And so when I hired myself on May 1st, I was like, what do you do for others? And that's how it started. But then I was just like, fuck it. Your bills are paid. You're going to do it your way. And if you're up till 4 in the morning with the kid, who's, like, you taught me, I'm an adult. I'm going to do it my way. And the only criteria was to have a safe space. I don't want to share it with anyone who doesn't deserve. Don't honor your story to anyone who doesn't deserve it. It can be lethal. But once the shame is out of your story, no one can really get to you. Art is a really great way for me to express it out and then kind of let it go. Yeah.
It's not offensive, it's not wrong, because it's everybody's to interpret. And it's just allowing yourself to open up that door. And I think cannabis gives us that ability to open up that door if we allow it, so that we can be expressive and put that out.
Yeah. Someone wanted me to write out what each piece was, and I think, but it's going to be different for everyone. So I don't want to limit down any feeling, that feeling of not feeling and just getting through the day. And so if we can ignite a feeling to, I don't want to put an explanation on that. It's whatever's inside, and I'm hoping that it can help others. I don't know how I will be at the show. I want to be readily available, but I also need to know my boundaries. I think these are literally 35 years of feeling, me awakening these feelings. That's why it's always, at your own pace. Please reach out when you are ready. Yeah, some of it's pretty in your face, you know what it is. I truly want to just enjoy the music outside and the dancers, and that this is the biggest thing I've ever thought I would share of myself.
So have you dealt with or processed how it's going to feel putting all of this art in one place and having yours and Canna Kitty's combined, and what that aha moment is going to be, or what that rush is going to be?
I think we've touched on it, but me and Canna Kitty have so many feelings, it's almost unspoken, and we're just like, let's wait. So we'll tap on it, and it's like, it's such a big feeling, it's almost like we both know to wait, and let's just, we are going to try to take a vacation a week prior to the show, to really just zen ourselves and really just kind of clear it out. We're gonna overthink things. We're gonna be all in our feelings. Like I said, she's so brave. She's already shared her art. I do look upon her, I said, unspoken. I know she's here with me when she's not here. And I feel well understood. And I think we could look at each other during that time, during the event, and know if we're really uncomfortable to grab each other. It's gonna be the biggest feeling we've ever had of us.
Yeah, I think it is going to be as well.
On times of me doubting, she's amazing, and at times she's doubting, I'm just like, you're doing amazing, just keep on going. And I think that's all we truly needed was, yes, people to believe in us. And
well, it's like the floodgates open, basically.
Right. That's what I was scared of. That you start a little bit, and next thing I know, I thought I was going to end up this crying, whiny baby that I can't get out of this feeling quicksand. It hurts so bad. Once you find the right people and the right, I don't know, therapy. I don't like that word.
I say channel.
Channel, nice. Or yeah.
You channel it in a way that is healthy and works for you, and being able to express it with art and do it that way is a safe way. It's a healthy way.
And it's not so much of a floodgate. You are working on one piece. I usually have about 5 pieces going prior to COVID. And now I'm actually being able to sit with a piece and really think it out. And the only thing halting me now is supplies. And so once I can get more supplies in, I can get more pieces out.
So you said that you don't want to put an explanation around everything, but do you give each piece a name?
Yes, I do. Like the portrait, it's called She's Lovely. And the title is Can I Have Her? I don't know why the names come out, but no, I do know now. But they seem to have titles as soon as I think about them. My first trainer, that's my dog. And yeah, they all have titles. Yeah.
So do those titles come once the piece is completely finished, or do they come midway?
They came before, some of them aren't even started. When me and Canna Kitty sat and just was thinking of the idea, and we started spitting out what kind of art we wanted to do, and our list is 25 plus pieces. It is in us. And like I said, every time we talk to each other, it's not a doubt. We're just like, we got this. And I think this is one of the very first things I've never doubted. And so that's huge for me, especially because it's me. And then it was the trust thing. And until recently, until you and I got back together, I didn't know I was completely still closed off. I really thought I was doing my work. I was like, yeah, I'm learning. I got this. And then you said I was doing it just head, which my head is amazing. My brain, I really thought I was getting it down. And then you said I had to feel with my heart. And that was just like, oh my gosh, you're right, you're right.
I've never found anybody's heart that leads them wrong.
Yes.
Your head gets in the way because you have things that have been placed in there by other people. You have expectations that are in there. You have responsibilities that are in there. And those things, some of those things are important, but there's a lot of that stuff that was put on us when we were children, and it doesn't have a purpose in our life anymore. And
it doesn't have a purpose.
Finding your purpose is really important.
But I also found that without guidance, how do you understand the awakening? And so I think to find the trusting is where I needed to start first before I could really, truly start my healing. Because like I said, I was afraid. I was afraid a lot of stuff was going to come out.
Well, we all think everybody's life is like ours for so long.
You did teach me that.
You know, it's like, oh, everybody's life is the same, and you don't know to expect or to think that there's anything differently until you're given a chance to see something differently. It's just a matter of having a good feel about your own internal instincts and understanding yourself. I think that one of the things that you and I worked a lot on is that working within your own self.
Correct.
Working within your own beliefs and your own thoughts.
I didn't have, and I think I shut off all my instincts. I was so uncomfortable. I was so comfortable in the uncomfortable. I have been in the uncomfortable my whole life. When I get into a good situation, I'm very uncomfortable. I am waiting constantly. And I think that's all I ever wanted was one trusted adult that stayed and taught me something right. And I truly can say they're only few and far between, and there were literally glimpses. I call them glitter because in the dark, glitter like a spark is so bright. And then you write them a thank you note in your journal and you never see them again.
I think it's really important to learn to trust in yourself. And I think that's
biggest lesson.
One of the things I try to teach all women is that you are powerful, you are important, you matter, and trust in yourself. Don't doubt yourself when you doubt yourself. And that's what a lot of people kind of set you up to do when you're a kid.
Yeah. But once you hear those words, and you won't believe them at first, but then it starts to sit. And it is, at times of quiet, I'll hear those sometimes, which is the most beautiful gift. Usually, yeah, you're just beating yourself up on what you did all day that wasn't to your standard, or what you think your standard should have been, or you said something. And so I'm just grateful those kinds of conversations are a lot less now. And I can actually sit with the lessons that I've learned. But yeah, people also teach you all these lessons, but then life gets busy. It takes time. You have to sit with yourself. It's gonna take time. And I think I wanted to rush it because I'm like, I'm a good student. Like, teach me more. Yeah, this is the hardest stuff I've ever done, but it's the most fulfilling. Yeah, I didn't think I could get to this point, I guess.
Well, and I think it's absolutely beautiful that you're going to be able to express and share with the community and show women how much work you've done, and that they too have that ability and have that opportunity to actually do their own work, their self-work, and get to know themselves. So you know yourself. It's just you try to not allow yourself, I think, to fully explore who you are. I think we all have imagination of what we want to be. And I think we build that from when we're a little kid. But when we grow up, we still have so many expectations that are placed on us, and you're supposed to do this and you're supposed to do that, that you just never allow yourself to fully be who you are. And I think that this is the beginning of hopefully showing women that we can step out, we can be using our voices, we can express and talk about the things that we've had to put down and not do for so long. That I'm hoping this will give women a new place to come and explore themselves and become the women they want to be.
And to know that it's not, that you can start to let it go and it can come out of you. I didn't think that could happen. Like I said, I didn't want to dwell on the past. I didn't even want to give it any kind of attention.
I think any of us that have gone through trauma in life, we need that. We need to validate that some of what we live with and what we think and what we feel is not just unique to us, that other women have gone through the same things. Other women have had to go to do these battles. I don't know that our work is ever done.
Never.
I think we will always be working on this.
And it's practice. And it's like, it is. You need guidance on what is the next step. And it's like you give me questions, very simple questions at the beginning, and then I sit with myself and see what those questions arise, right? I never had someone to get my brain to start thinking in those lovely places. Program this head. I'm grateful that I can be awakened at this age, that I didn't have to wait until the next.
Well, and I think that, and I hope that we eventually get to this place where people understand cannabis is allowing that. Cannabis is allowing us to get to places and explore things, then opening the brain and the mind up to things to feel and explore things that we never could do if we didn't have it.
And we need a guide on that, because look at how many times, I puked my first time. I did not want to try cannabis again. Or even my second time ended up in the hospital, that was not going to be something that I was going to put in my body every day. It just wasn't for me. And until I got, 8 months I was working there before I started really using the medicine. I had no idea about the medicine, that cannabis was for us. It took the scientific part of it into my brain before I could even be open to try it. I just needed a job at the time.
Every single person that consumes cannabis is putting medicine in their body, and I think
now
that's
know.
But I don't think the general public knows that, and I think that's really important as part of even this trauma art show, is to be able to share with people and explain to them that you're putting medicine in your body. Your body has been ignored and neglected all of your life with this and not being nurtured, and this is something that we're doing, and this is what we're able to do by doing that. And this is
what came out, and this is for artists, but there's also other parts. We can go into the other ladies, what they had created with cannabis. So
that art doesn't have to be necessarily on a canvas, like you said. It can be a sculpture, it can be
mosaic. Let's break some dishes and then make a candle holder. I was like, that is art. I see art in everything. My daughter used to make these nature pieces. Everywhere we went to the park, she would just grab some leaves and sticks and she would intertwine them like a little basket, and leave it for someone to find and enjoy later. I thought it was so beautiful. I think, like I said, I think I wanted to do art my entire life.
And then now you're doing it, and that's
yes, I am. Because I'm an adult and I can do whatever I want.
I think that cannabis makes you more creative and more in touch with yourself.
Yes, I think it enhances our biggest feeling, and if we actually do use the medicine and sit with it, we can really start to get through those layers. You taught me what's the biggest feeling today. Quit thinking about all the rest, and I do love in the moment. Found out though, like, you need to validate your past. I really did try to skip it and let's just get on with it. I'm alive. You do need to validate it. I'm just grateful it didn't take years and years and years and years, or I got stuck. But definitely, Yes, it enhanced, like okay, at first I would over medicate because it would start bringing on some feels and I was medicating incorrectly. Once I learned more about how it enhances how we feel inside, I took away all sativas, thought it wasn't for me. Found out when I have good company though in sativa, it's good combo. I did some great art together. Did sativa with someone else that was kind of from my past, and I had an entire anxiety attack. And so it very much will ignite your senses, and if you are aware of it, it can definitely guide you in what's correct and right for you. If you learn to listen to it, accept it, use it as your power. Like at the beginning though, you have all these feelings, you don't know what to do with it, and I think that's why all this education is very, very important.
How can people learn more or reach you to find out more about your art and the show that's coming up?
Okay, you can definitely reach out. The easiest way is on Instagram at Muffy.D, or the Etiquette Crew page. And then we also do have a website, industrylives.com and industrylives.info. So one is more of just, the .com is going to be pretty much all the people involved right now that have kind of helped me along the way and really kind of show what I would have loved to have at the beginning, and kind of just have a more guided outline on how to find that help. And then the .info is more very much educational, and questions, frequently asked questions. We can make it in this world, and with a little bit of support, yeah, we can take on some really big obstacles and really start becoming who we are and what we're intended to be. I mean, I have so many people believing in me, and I feel like I can do anything. And I think that's all I ever needed. And it was the hardest thing to trust myself and believe in myself. I've been trying to do that my whole life.
The thing I say is that we have trauma that happens to us when we're younger that we have no control over, but we all reach a point where we have a say and we have a voice. And it's finding that say and that voice. And at one point, you can't use that as an excuse for not to get it better. You have to take charge for yourself. And I think that's what I love about cannabis. It allows me to express whatever I'm feeling in a kind way, not in a harsh way or an ugly way, but in a kind way that it allows me to think things through and see it in a different perspective than maybe what I would have seen it before. But I think when we're a little bit more open about that we have something similar or we can relate, then we are more that. I think
I can vouch for that. For the first time, yeah, I've been speaking of, and it's been well received, and each day I was getting braver to talk more, but only to specific people. But then, like I said, you guys are still around, and so it became consistent that I can go into deeper conversations, that I can share more of myself. So yeah.
And we have to provide a safe place for that to happen.
Correct.
We have to provide women or anyone a place that they can feel safe to come and be open and be sharing. And I think that that's what everything you and Irene are doing with the Trauma Art Show. That's what you're doing with the Etiquette Crew. That's what we're doing with Effective Cannabis, with Echo. Everything, when we combine all this, I think that we're putting all this together to provide all of those resources that are necessary so that people can heal themselves, get in touch with themselves, and become who they want to be, because that's bottom line. This is your life. It's no one else's. And you're the only one that lives it.
Yes, and I think you're exactly right. With all of us, the team together, I think you can come to one space and have the answers and guidance at your time. Because like you were saying, each person's different, and sometimes the lessons aren't at the same time as everybody else. I jump a lot, and it works well for me. I ask for lessons at the time that I can handle them and well understand them. So yeah, I think we're doing great.
Well,
I think
hopefully
have
we
something
can
very
help identify
important.
where they need to go and what group they need to be
You
with or
will.
what person
Well,
they need to
you.
be with, you know, so that this is where you need to start.
Yes, 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 yes. You are amazing at that. Because
So,
I never asked myself, what is the biggest now? And yeah, and you really did teach me I needed to get my basics. And then once that lesson was learned, I was like, wait, you can't even attempt more until these are done. You need that basic safety foundation first, and then the rest kind of really just kind of fit into place.
and you have to be ready. You have to be open to doing the work. It's not
Very.
something, no one can do it for you. It only you can do it yourself.
And you
Someone
don't
can
have to do it
guide
all
you
at
and give
once.
you advice, but you have to want to do the work yourself.
Yeah, we have to do our own walk. There's no way for another to understand everything that is within us. We all speak a different language, have come from different places, have a completely different understanding of even just one same sentence.
I love in a very different way. And I think
Yeah.
that just, you know, for me, learning who I am and being proud of who I am and accepting who I am, it allows me to make good choices for myself. If you don't like the choices that I make, it's there. This is my life. No one else is living it but me. There's other people involved in my life, but I live it, I walk it, I breathe it every day. And it's really important that I think every person in the world can be able to find that. And that's my goal and my hope that I could give everybody that they could just be true to themselves.
Be them. It's the biggest gift, Debbie. It is the biggest gift. And I think if that gift, like you said, was given to at a very young age, we can handle anything. 2025, bring it on. They would have handled it well. They would have took it on. They would have been like, this is an opportunity of lessons, you know, instead of being so scared, you know. Yeah, we have, and I think the only time that change is actually going to happen is when these babies, yeah, they are taught differently and they can make a change in the world. The only thing we can do is heal now to teach them differently, this generational craziness that we've lived.
Donna, I thank you very much for coming by and sharing with us what you're going to be doing in the Trauma Art Show. And we will be doing another podcast with Canna Kitty and Donna here coming up shortly to talk more about the specifics of the art show so that you can understand what you need to do or how you can contribute, how you can be involved. Thank you very much and have a beautiful day. And everybody be uplifted.
Thank you. You stay uplifted too. Have a great day.
Thank you.
I will close with one final comment. Each of us, if we have lived for a minute, have experienced trauma. Finding ways to heal is often challenging. We are finding when you combine art and cannabis, it is a new and exciting way to help you address and find purpose with inner healing. Echo Podcast is provided by Effective Cannabis, where they study, learn, and teach self-healing. The information we provide is for medical awareness, not medical advice. We thank you for dropping in and listening. It really does mean a lot to us. If you want to stay informed on cannabis, inner healing, and self-growth, hit the follow or subscribe button, and we will notify you each time we uplift.